Morning, Clive here from Nautilus. I understand you've got a conference happening soon, and I thought I would just run through some of the latest releases of our wines and tell you a little bit about them. So first of all, we've got the Islands Sauvignon Blanc 2010 vintage. Now while this wine is a new product for you guys, we have been making it here since 1992, so it's by no means a new release over here. And we describe Twin Islands as being classic Marlborough. So we get fruit from principally the valley floor region of the Wairau Valley, and it's got all those elements you look for in Marlborough Sauvignon Blanc that's made it famous. It's fresh, it's fruity, it's vibrant on the nose, but it's also a wine that you can just sit and drink by itself. It's very approachable and an easy drinking style. So you can see all the, there's a little bit of the heather that's light herbal characters, but there's also tropical characters as well. And that's our philosophy with Sauvignon Blanc. Because we've got these different vineyards dotted around the valley, we look at getting different components, and building up layers of texture into the wine. So again on the palate, it's got that fresh zing. Some nice juicy acidity that makes it moreish, so you don't want to just have one glass and then tire it and move on. It's a 2 or 3 glass wine, hopefully, maybe even a bottle.
Of course it's a bottle.
At least. So hopefully that goes well for you and gives you a little alternative Sauvignon Blanc. Moving on to Nautilus, this is the 2010 we'll taste first. And a couple of key differences to differentiate Nautilus between Twin Islands. One is the Nautilus generally gets the Sauvignon from the Arbitrary Valley, which is here, so that's a small component, along with fruit from our other vineyards as well. But for Nautilus, we're looking for that extra degree of concentration, a bit more complexity, and that really gives it length and drive across the palate. So, it's a bigger, more robust wine. And what that means with that is sometimes it's a little bit slower to evolve. So we always say Nautilus tastes better after Christmas than before. And because it's a more complex style, it takes a little while for it to come out of the shell, should we say. And but that puts it in good stead for longevity as well. We tasted the 07 last night actually, and that was still looking really good.
Mm. There's just been a review in one of the papers here in Marlborough. Sorry, this is Katie speaking behind the camera, reviewing the 07 versus the 09, and they were saying that the 07 was actually drinking better. The 09's fantastic, but with some age, will carry on improving. And
Alan Hoey's over here this week to celebrate his leaving, actually, his final visit to Nautilus, but he believes his 2010 vintage is the best we've produced. Mm. So he's doing it for 25 years, so he's probably got a fairly good opinion on that. That extra dimension of concentration and length and drive on the palate also makes it a very good food wine. So Nautilus is, a wine you see more at the dinner table. Twin Islands is perhaps in the afternoon for a summer drink. So we'll have a look at the 09 just to also see how the wine evolves over a short period of time. And with this wine, you're starting to see a little bit of development on the nose, so it's toned down the high notes, less of the sort of fresh herb and more into even some lemon, lime, a bit of citrus peel coming through. And then on the palate it's sort of softened and broadened out, and it's gives it really good length. Whereas the 2010 is still sort of fresh and zingy and a little bit spiky. The 2009's really settled down and it's got a nice round, smooth palate. Mm. And that's very typical of Nautilus.
And I think that softer, juicier acidity rather than the really harsh, searing acidity is something that's a real strong point for Nautilus if you compare it to other Marlborough Sauvignons. It's definitely got that classic Marlborough Sauvignon acidity, but it's just a little bit softer. a little bit more balanced with the rest of the wine.
Our wines are dry too, so we don't fatten them up with sugar, which some people do. So we certainly rely on that fruit concentration. Generally, Nautilus comes principally from our own vineyards as well. We do use some of the grower fruit, just where we think it's a particularly special parcel that adds something to the blend. Right, moving on to Pinot. So we've got here the Opawa PInot 09, which is about to be shipped, I understand. Mm-hmm. And
so I think you guys have just sold through the last of the 07. 07 being the first vintage that we produced of Opawa, and things that we've actually learned quite a lot and developed quite quickly, improved quite quickly in a short number of vintages. So I think you'll see quite a difference between the 07, especially what that's looking like now, and the 09.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been fine-tuning it over the last couple of years, and what we're finding now with the Opawa Pinot, it's principally coming from a vineyard here and a vineyard here. Now, the reality is both those vineyards were planted for Nautilus, and certainly this vineyard here was a significant component of Nautilus for the last, or from year 2000 through to 2007. Since we purchased the Playhorse vineyard here, that's where our focus on Nautilus has shifted. So all this fruit that used to go into Nautilus is now being diverted into the Opawa brand. So stylistically, we want it to be fruit forward, fruit driven. Classic Pinot, got those nice sort of vibrant aromatics that Marlborough Pinot is known for, and it does all get barrel aged, but we tone back the new wood component of it, so the wood should sit in the background compared to Nautilus, whereas Nautilus is, plays a significant part. And as these wines, again, as they settle down and age in the bottle, they just become a really nice drink. Pinot, to me, it's got to have a drinkability and a freshness to it, and I think we've achieved that with the Opawa blends in the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm. The 08, was it the 08, Clive, that got a gold medal at Perth and actually topped its class for 2008 Pinots, so, and the 2009 is a step up again from that, so we're pretty happy with how the wines are looking now.
We just also looked at the components for 2010 as well, and while it's early days, we haven't sort of finalised our blends. We're pretty excited about how that's looking as well.
So I do encourage you, when the 2009 is available, if it's available by the time you watch this, do make sure you have a taste of it, because I do want you to see how far it's come. It's quite a different wine from the 07.
Okay, so moving on to the Nautilus Pinot 08, which is your current release. And for Nautilus, we focus really in this Southern Valleys area of Marlborough. So this is up on clay soils, on north-facing slopes. There's two really specialised Pinot Noir vineyards here, our own Playhorse vineyard and a grower vineyard called Yarram. And we also have small parcels from Yowateri, Kaituna and Renwick, but principally sort of 70–80% is coming off these clay soils, and it's making a big difference. Off those clay soils we get real succulence in the mid-palate and a really juicy wine that's just delicious to drink. So with the 08, it's really coming into its own. It's had a little bit of time in bottle now. These wines we find they're still staying fruity for 3, 4, 5 years now. You can still see that primary fruit character. It's not until sort of 5 years or older that they start developing the more savoury, complex, forest floor type characters you associate with Pinot. So the moment is young wines, and I think our style also as well is very approachable. They're serious wines, but you can actually drink them now. You don't have to sort of go, that's a great wine, I'll put that away for 10 years and then I'll try it and see if it's become approachable. The wines that are delicious now, and they're certainly part of our style. It was actually the 07 vintage was described by the wine writer as being utterly seductive, and I reckon that's a fantastic description for Pinot. That's the sort of Pinot I want to make. So,
Clive's favourite tasting note yet.
Yeah, nothing wrong with a bit of seduction. Okay, and moving on to the 2009 vintage. So this has just been released domestically. It hasn't next shipment to the US. So it shouldn't be too far away. And the 2009 vintage was characterised by actually very low yields, particularly on our 2 principal blocks. So whereas we normally target about 1 kilo, 2 kilos per vine, in 2009 we got 1 kilo, so half of what we were expecting, which was a little bit disappointing from a quantity point of view, but from a quality point of view, what we got was quite stunning. So this wine is still evolving. You can see the oak influence, a bit of toasty oak on the nose, and you can see that that powerful Marlborough fruit character as well. Those sort of ripe red fruits, some of the dark fruits, and plum character there. And it's still sort of working its way together, and it will evolve over the next sort of 12 to 18 months. And then on the palate, it's nice and full and rich, and probably got a little bit more structure than the 2008. So a bit of a bigger style wine perhaps, but still sort of soft and approachable as well. So, I hope you enjoy that, and good luck with selling it, and best wishes from the festive season for us at Nautilus, and we'll hope to see you again soon.
Bye.
It's a wrap.